An anonymous guy emailed me and he said, "You talk about breathing and relaxation on your PE website. So have you come across Wim Hof? I've been doing his breathing method for a few days and it's intense. Too early to tell whether it will help with my PE, but it helps me feel energized and helps with stamina. Do you have any thoughts on this?" Well, that's really interesting. And I have experienced Wim Hof breathing, and yes, it is intense, isn't it? And it feels energizing too, like really energizing. But can the Wim Hof method help with premature ejaculation? Well, first off, I should be clear that I'm not a Wim Hof practitioner or an affiliate or anything to do with his work. But when I'm talking to guys about breath work and techniques, the Iceman, as he's known, often crops up because he's really made a massive impact for a few years now. So I have delved into his method and some of the science, and it is fascinating stuff. He's a fascinating character too. He can take ice baths for hours on end. He can fight infections without getting ill. He can consciously influence his nervous system. These are feats of physiological control that sometimes don't make any conventional medical sense, but he's doing it. And he teaches us how to do this stuff too. Relaxation, stamina, self-control at a deep level. This is going to be of interest to guys who struggle with premature ejaculation, because a big part of that problem is feeling unable to control a process, a reflex in the body. So could Wim Hof offer a solution here? Now, there is a fair amount of hype around this too. Wim Hof is a very good advocate for the life-changing benefits of his method, and he does this with great passion and good intention, I'm sure of it. But this can get amped up by other voices or affiliates to a point where it sounds like he's found the panacea for all of our problems. So there is a list of benefits on the official Wim Hof method site, and I'll link to that in the description. These include improved mental health, stress relief, increased willpower, and of particular interest to men with premature ejaculation, improved mind-body connection. There's no specific mention of sexual function on there, so let's explore that a little bit further. The three core elements are breathing, mental focus, and exposure to the cold. The method teaches people how to utilize the power of their minds so that they can voluntarily influence their nervous system and their immune response. So let's start with breathing. Fundamentally, this is taking 30 to 40 deep breaths, making sure you fully exhale them, and then you hold for a specific time. Then you take a recovery breath and you hold that for a bit. Now, this increases oxygen levels and it decreases carbon dioxide in the blood. And the theory is that this creates a calm yet energized state, which is a good place to be for mental focus. On the mental focus side of things, the training covers paying attention to our thoughts and observing how they influence our feelings. So it's like meditation and mindfulness, developing awareness of our own thinking processes. Now, next we get into the habit of letting go of toxic thoughts and steering our attention towards positive outcomes. And it's interesting that concentration and focus is a big part of Wim Hof's ability to influence his nervous system. And this has been tested under laboratory conditions. They gave him a shot of E. coli bacteria and he was able to produce a deliberate, controlled response to it. He engaged his fight-flight response, releasing more stress hormones than usual. And he fought that infection without showing flu symptoms. And this isn't just a unique thing that he does. Other people who've been trained in the Wim Hof method have been able to do it too. And then thirdly, we have exposure to the cold. So students of this method are encouraged to have cold showers and ice baths to build their tolerance. And apparently this results in even more health benefits, like reducing inflammation and boosting the immune system even more. And in another study, Wim Hof kept a regular body temperature regular heart rate and blood pressure while taking an ice bath for 80 minutes. 80 minutes! And he didn't even shiver. That is nuts. So if Wim Hof can get us calmly controlling our energies and letting go of toxic thoughts and even regulating our heart rate, well, surely it could help with lasting a bit longer in bed. I mean, compared to ice baths and fighting off bacteria, lasting a bit longer in bed sounds pretty doable, surely. Well, for starters, is there anything in this method that we can incorporate directly into our sexual function? And it's good to get clear on this, because getting it wrong might make matters worse. Take Kegels, for example, that exercise where we tighten and relax our PC muscle. Now, getting used to how this feels can be helpful for guys with PE, but if they simply try doing Kegels during intercourse, they are missing the point, and it might make them come even sooner. And then they give up on Kegels and they miss any potential benefits. And I have another video about that. The same can be said for visualization and breathwork techniques if we don't do our homework. Again, these things can be helpful, but it's in the application. Now, the Wim Hof techniques can help us control our nervous system, sometimes in quite amazing ways. And the autonomic nervous system plays a major role in erection, orgasm, and ejaculation. So more control in this department, I wonder. Now, the autonomic nervous system has two divisions. One acts as the accelerator, the sympathetic nervous system, and the other is the brake, the parasympathetic nervous system. So when we talk about stress or anxiety or the fight or flight response, this is the engagement of the sympathetic nervous system. It's our accelerator response for survival and reproduction and preparing the body for immediate physical action. When our parasympathetic, the other branch of the nervous system, is engaged, we're in that rest, relaxed, digest state. We're more in control in many ways. It's our more resourceful state. Think moving in a more relaxed, controlled and laid-back way, and you'll see what I'm getting at here. Now, in order to get an erection in the first place, we need to feel sufficiently relaxed, and the parasympathetic nervous system is truly engaged at this stage. And then as our excitement level and our arousal levels rise, the sympathetic nervous system kicks in and accelerates us to ejaculation. And for men who struggle with PE, it kicks in quickly. And the harder they try to delay, no, stop, slow down, the more agitated and accelerated they become. And if you've been in this situation, you know that feeling of frustration and to some degree panic when that goes on, and it sucks. So that's why any technique that enables us to self-regulate our nervous system is going to be of great interest here. And deep breathing and mindfulness have long been considered helpful practices for overcoming PE. They aren't an instant fix. We need to get the hang of these skills to get the benefits, but they do influence our nervous system and hence our ejaculation reflex. And you can see my other video about that. And as I say, this is ancient wisdom. The old Tantra and the yoga practices, long before our understanding of neurology and nervous systems, these guys were onto something. They knew that using breath and posture, and we can have more control. So what does Wim Hof bring to this? Well, in theory, it's a breakthrough. It's a way of willfully overriding a bodily process to a degree that was previously thought to be impossible. But there is one thing, and that's the way the Wim Hof method influences the nervous system. For guys who want to slow things down and last longer, it's kind of the wrong way around. The hyperventilation, the breath holding, and the recovery breathing of the method triggers the fight or flight response, and that's on purpose. It engages the sympathetic nervous system. Combined with mental focus training, this is used in fighting bacteria, enduring the cold, and athletic performance and raising energy levels and all that activated stuff. But as I say, The sympathetic nervous system is also the driver to ejaculation. And when we want sex to last longer, we want more of the opposite. We want our parasympathetic state, our relaxed mode, to stay engaged to some degree for longer. And that's how we ride the waves of excitement and intense pleasure without tipping over the edge. So this is key. The Wim Hof technique is different to other breathing and meditation practices. It aims to put the body into an active state, and it says this on the tin. And this has some health benefits, but lasting longer and overcoming premature ejaculation probably isn't one of them. And if you want to work on your PE, then should you forget about Wim Hof? Well, we know that the wellness advice and techniques can be misapplied to the problem of premature ejaculation. Even products, like see my video about the much hyped CBD oil, for example. So in knowing that the Wim Hof method activates rather than relaxes, let's just consider some of the ways in which guys with PE might still get some benefit. So first of all, there's letting go of toxic beliefs. So a lot of Wim Hof adoptees report that the combination of intense focus and an energized, oxygen-fueled state enables them to make big mental shifts. It's been called meditation on steroids. So for example, in the reading I was doing, I saw one guy claim that the breath work released his toxic beliefs around his sexual ability, and he can now last for as long as he wants. And that's pretty cool. And I might suggest that the intensity of the Hof method has a powerful placebo effect. And it's easy to get a taste of this. Try following the Wim Hof breathing exercise, and I'll link that in the description, and you'll really feel as if you're experiencing something. And when I say placebo, I'm not being dismissive here. The placebo effect is a positive thing. It helps with the effectiveness of medication and talking therapy and physical exercise and taking any kind of deliberate action that makes us feel that we're doing something positive, and the body can respond in amazing ways. Then there's activity during a breath hold. One of the big features of the Hof method is learning to increase physical stamina. Those big, rapid breaths have an energizing effect, and the method gets people doing something with that energy. So for example, doing a bunch of push-ups before taking that recovery breath. Now for me, this is intriguing, and I can see the benefits in terms of body awareness and confidence, like being able to trust our bodies. But again, would I recommend carrying this over directly into sex? Probably not. I'll come back to the benefits of deep, relaxed breathing during sex, but it's worth flagging this up. By all means, experiment with activity during a breath hold. Do push-ups, do burpees, run around the block. Realise the potential that your body has. But don't hold your breath during sex. Don't try delaying your orgasm and ejaculation this way. It activates us, it creates tension, it might even make you come quicker. It's not an optimal or even a suboptimal way of managing your arousal. And another thing, right, this increase in nitric oxide. So most of us will naturally inhale through our noses when we do these breathing techniques. And Wim Hof says it doesn't matter whether we inhale through the mouth or the nose. But there might be an additional side effect here. According to breathwork experts, nasal breathing can increase levels of nitric oxide entering the lungs. Now, nitric oxide is a vasodilator, which means it increases blood flow to the penis. Viagra also increases the amount of nitric oxide in the body, and we know what that does. But did you know that increased levels of nitric oxide also has an inhibitory effect on the ejaculation process? This is one of the known side effects of SSRI medication, which also elevates nitric oxide. That's not all that SSRI medication does. See my other video for more information about the potential benefits. But it's one of the reasons why SSRIs effectively delay ejaculation. This breathing in through the nose phenomenon can be achieved through any kind of breath work, of course, but the Hof technique utilises rapid hyperventilating breaths, and this may well raise nitric oxide levels more than other methods. So here's a takeaway for guys who struggle with PE. During sex, breathe deep and in through the nose. And breathe during pauses in sex too. We all know about the start-stop method of prolonging intercourse. That's taking little breaks to cool down. It can help. It's a natural thing to do. It can be super frustrating for your partner if you do it in a robotic or panicky way, but that's a conversation for another day. It can help, and you're going to do it instinctively sometimes anyway. Now, I've seen a Reddit thread where guys said, okay, we can't do Wim Hof breathing during sexual movement, but maybe during the pauses. Again, I don't think so. Once again, this is more likely to accelerate ejaculation and give you that reset effect. And hyperventilation is not a good look during sex. But I do agree with the notion that stopping, remembering to breathe, and then starting over will help you get that natural reset effect. And I show guys a different way to handle all this, to make use of even very brief pauses when they naturally change position or move around. And I'll talk about this more in another video. So to conclude this somewhat in-depth but hopefully useful weighing up of the Wim Hof technique, from the evidence I've seen, the Wim Hof method has legitimate benefits for health. He draws on long-established practices of breath work, meditation, and he teaches all this in a really fun and empowering way. I like it. And I can see how it resonates with people, maybe men in particular, in a positive way. It's very cool stuff. Extreme endurance, Arctic conditions, frosted beards, the Iceman. And anything that helps build our mental and our physical resilience is a good thing. Is the Wim Hof method a straightforward cure for PE? Not in itself, I don't think. But adopting it as a form of meditation and growth might help with the symptoms of frustration and even depression that are often part of the premature ejaculation struggle. So by all means, embrace the energy and the insights of this improved mind-body connection. And there are plenty of proven, more scientific ways to tackle PE. Now, if I've missed anything about the method, or you disagree, or you're doing it and it's working for you, please feel free to let me know in the comments. And as ever, thank you for watching. If you have any questions about premature ejaculation or sexual confidence in general, please feel free to get in touch, and my website is linked in the description below this video. Also remember that I am a therapist sharing my opinions and general advice, but this is no substitute for going to see your own GP or doctor. So if you have any concerns about health or your sexual health, you should go and get a medical checkup and take some advice. Thank you very much for watching.